All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the TDT podcast. And just a little disclaimer, I am currently dying of allergies, so I'm sorry if I'm like coughing and stuff in the video. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
just been
sound
hit
pretty
like a
bad.
truck by them. Yeah, I don't know. Just I was outside a lot yesterday, and I've today just been it's not good. But anyways, we have another guest, a special guest, a long and anticipated guest. Kaid Boehm from Continuuum is here. We're clap it up for Kaid. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, Cade, he runs cross country and track with me, like most of our guests here on the podcast. And he has this little clothing brand called Continuum that he kind of runs on an Instagram page. Cade, you want to tell us about yourself a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. I run Continuum. I mean, it's not really a clothing brand anymore. It's sort of like developed into a mood board blog kind of
Mhm.
thing. But yeah, that's just sort of a little hobby I have. And yeah, I run cross country and track with Carter. And yeah, that's
Yeah, so sweet. So you kind of just answered really our first question, but our first question
Yeah.
is, what is Continuum and kind of what does Continuum mean?
yeah. So when I started Continuum, it was going to be solely a clothing brand. That's
Mhm.
kind of what I was going for. And the idea behind it was so the art that I made was all created with one line. So every time I create a piece, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool, but like I don't know what I should call this like project, I guess, that I'm working on. So I decided to call it Continuum because all the pieces that I did were in one continuous line.
Mhm.
And that's sort of where that came from. And over time, I realized that I didn't have like all the resources like right at my hands to create clothing and but I wanted to keep my audience like engaged. So I started posting like photos that I thought were aesthetically pleasing to me. Just random things I like, shoes, clothes, interior design, layouts, and I'd start posting those. And over time, I got more interested in that and how like all those components, like composition and color, work together. And over time, it's sort of just turned into a blog. Like I just like to share music on there and just
Yeah.
share photos and things like that.
So yeah,
Mhm.
whenever you go to the Continuum page on Instagram, you'll see a whole bunch of what seems like random posts. But now we're learning that it actually does mean something. So my
Yeah.
question is, you say like you're this stuff that you post you're interested in. Is there any possibility in the future where your future work would be you would base that off of those images? Like, would you take inspiration from any of the images that you post?
For sure. Yeah, like pretty much everything that I post on that page is, like I said, something that I'm interested in, and I take inspiration from it. And I really think, and it sort of goes to show, you can get inspiration from anything. I saw this thing where these students, I believe they were students, they went to an art museum and they put some glasses, just some basic reading glasses on the ground, and as an experiment they tried to see what people would do, how they would react. People ended up taking pictures of the glasses thinking it was a real piece of art in the museum, but it was actually just the kids' glasses.
Wow.
And I feel like that sort of shows that like inspiration can really come from anything, and it just depends on like how you perceive it. So for sure, I definitely think my future, I would hope, is based off of the things I'm inspired by right now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And so with all that inspiration, how do you think the experience with ever since starting Continuum, how do you think the experience has shaped you as a person, or has it changed your mindset towards anything, or like how has it shaped how you view not only your inspiration but also your work and what you create?
Oh boy, definitely. I've definitely changed a few aspects just about the way I think and how I carry myself because of this. And I know it does sound weird just because I post a bunch of random captionless photos, but it
Yeah.
like my my goal has changed so much with Continuuum. I started out as a clothing brand. I had a really modern aesthetic that I sort of shaped into a gorpcore type of aesthetic, and then over time it's turned into this like modern vintage sort of feel with a few different things mixed in. And I'd say for sure the way I think has changed, because these things I'm constantly like finding new things every day that I like, and I read up about it, and I'm sort of inspired to carry myself in a certain way because of that. I'm inspired to dress a certain way because of
Yeah.
how I look at things, and how, all the photos that I take and post have just different ways of like speaking to me.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it's kind of like art, we talked about in another episode, that like art is very opinionated, and to one person your page just might look like a bunch of random photos, but to you, it's kind of a collection of one big vibe, I guess. I don't know exactly how to say it, but like I can definitely see like sometimes in the way the way you dress, like your fits, it's definitely like reflected of your page, I feel like, and like your personality as well, which I really like because I think it's cool. Like I think
And
the
it's
Instagram
unique.
page,
Like some people are
yeah.
so boring and stuff. Like, bro.
Yeah, and like your page is so calming just to like scroll through. I think I told you that once. Like it's just like
thank
it's
you.
really calming. Yeah. But the next question is, will you like ever make more clothes? Because you've said that you've kind of shifted your focus away from that. So are you gonna return to that or nah?
Yeah, that's something I've actually been like really thinking about right now. Well, I guess recently is a better word to use, but I would like to down the road, but I sort of want to shift my focus from, just printed t-shirts to like actual actual garments like that I design
Mhm.
myself. So sweaters, leather jackets, pants, um, any tops or shoes, like maybe not shoes now, but basically just any piece. I want to like start actually designing clothes rather than designs. And I
Mhm.
think for now I'm going to keep it as a blog. And as I grow my following, I'm going to start to dive into those different realms. Like I've been very interested in a few different like art forms recently. I've been getting into music recently, and more so music production. I'm really interested in like fragrances. I'd love to like make a candle, sort of a candle line or some sort of home decor type of brand, but we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're basically you sound really focused and determined to really expand this idea that you have, which I absolutely love. But this next question is a bit more technical. So could you explain, if you do know how the whole process works? I'm assuming you do, but explain the whole process that the clothes go through after order by the customer. So like obviously you design it, you come up with design, but like just walk us through a process of how it gets developed, and then how does it get distributed to everybody else.
Sure. So I don't actually print the clothes myself. I don't have a screen printer, and I don't have an embroidery machine. So yeah, I make the designs and then I send it out to either local, or I tried a company in California before, but shipping costs were way too much. I just scrapped that
Yeah.
idea. But you basically just contact a local screen printing company. You send them the designs your way, and you tell them exactly how you want it. And a big thing about that too is also choosing the garment that you want. You want to choose a good blank. So you want to choose something that's soft, or you want to choose something that's oversized. It really just depends on like what you're going for. So yeah, once I choose that, I go down there and pick it up. I bring it back to where I need to, and then I sort of write down everyone's names with sizes. I put them into the respective places, and then I go to the post office and ship them out.
So
But
it
yeah,
sounds like
so
so. Oh wait, sorry, Carter. What were you gonna say?
no, it's fine. But so like to be clear though, people like order, like I've heard. So when you did drop recently, you're like, oh, DM me on Instagram for orders. So you just take a list of everyone who asked for order and their size, and then you just print that number and that design and then ship them out, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I
Yeah.
really don't like how I did that. And that's part of the reason I'm really just not doing clothes right now, is because I want to keep things as professional as possible,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's sort of, I mean, you have to, you always have to start somewhere, but
Right,
I
of course.
have a direction I want to take this, and that's really not it right now. So,
Yeah.
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 And I mean, it sounds like it's a lot of work for you too, because you're trying to get your ideas out, and it sounds like, by the way you're describing, is that you single-handedly are completely running this. You're taking the orders in, you're distributing everything. Like, you're doing a lot of work, and that takes a lot of dedication, which is respectable. But that is a lot of stuff to do. So I can understand how that would, affect your motivation to put out more. But if so, you were talking about how you were thinking about making another drop, which you should, by the way. So if theoretically you were to drop a next line, when would it be, and then how could we get some? Because Carter told me when he wanted to have you on, he was like, there's this kid named Kaid, he runs a clothing brand. And I was like, oh, sick. Well, if he's gonna hop on the podcast, I want to get myself some of the stuff, like, I want to represent. So if I wanted to get something, how could I get it?
Okay. If I were to drop something, I would say it would be maybe sometime this summer. And I'd probably, if I were to drop, I would probably do it through Instagram again. Making a website is actually kind of costly at points, because you have to pay for the domain and things like that. So probably through Instagram.
Yeah, we tried to set up a website too for the podcast, and I gave up after like 2 days. I was like, nah, it's
It
not
fell
worth it.
apart real fast.
Yeah, like, okay, even the templates are difficult to like understand sometimes.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
feel like at the same time, because Kaid, both you and our little, like, our hobbies, the podcast and now obviously Continuum is much bigger than the podcast, but it's both, it's self-run, it's not a ginormous brand yet anyways, and so it's harder to do everything yourself, especially with the website and all that. It's difficult. But you were completely correct, and you got to start somewhere. But I think that you have definitely had a very successful start by the looks of
Yeah,
it.
the
Thank
support,
you.
like the support from the team and the school is huge. Like, especially on the team, like we love Cade so much. It's not even fun. It's kind of weird how much we love Cade.
Okay.
And like
All
I
right.
bet he's weirded out by some of it too. But
No.
like we really we really support him and continue on. And like, why I haven't purchased the shirt yet, because at every time he's
Oh,
dropped,
what a loser!
you don't have one either. Like,
Yeah, because I didn't know that about this until after the second drop hit. So
well,
I'm
every
just
time he's dropped, I've been too broke to afford one. So, but like how the outside life has shaped us, like in the podcast, and like our interests have shaped the podcast. Obviously, we do a lot of sports here, like we covered all of that. How has like your outside life like impacted Continuum and like influenced that?
How has my outside life
Yeah,
impacted
like your hobbies and
Continuum?
stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really interested in music. Like, I've become so interested in the production of it, and like how everything comes together to create one piece. And you listen to a song, take a really beautiful song, and you listen to it, and if you really like listen to like every part of that song, the background vocals, the main vocals, and I'm more so talking about the beat, the production of it. So like synthesizers and the bass and treble, and like how all these snares come together and these kicks come together, and that's really influenced me. Continuum has influenced my music taste, and my music taste has influenced the way I want to present myself, because music teaches you things,
Yeah, for sure. I feel like basically you're describing it as everything coming together as like kind of a collective. And I think like that's what your Instagram page is, and your whole kind of vibe, because like if you look at it individually, it's different every post, but if you look at it as a whole, it's it's not the same, but it's kind of the same vibe, and I feel like I get the same energy when you just scroll post after post and you just absorb it. I don't know. Sounds pretty weird, but I love Kate's page. I think he just posted like the most random but cool stuff. You know, it's like it's literally it's so random and unpredictable what he'll post. Like one day he'll post a couch, and the next he'll post like a 1960s Porsche. You know, like but
That's
I
how it
think
works.
yeah, like it's just Cade, and you can really tell it if you get to know him that like it's just I feel like your mind's on a different level from other people sometimes in the
Yeah.
way that like you just have everything unite as one kind of vibe
Yeah.
instead of
I fully support it. I love the idea. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is Continuum and its owner. But before we go, Carter's gonna ask him one more question because I don't understand this.
yeah. So
One more question
what's
before we
what's the deal with your obsession with Michael Jackson? Can we get some inside knowledge on that?
Oh boy, I do very much love Michael Jackson's music. I'm so influenced by Michael Jackson. And I think a part of it is nostalgia. I've like listened to his music ever since I can remember. And I he's like, you think about it, you look at artists today, you look at anything today, like there's so much inspiration that's root of Michael Jackson. And
hmm
I just think his music's so good. Like I feel like I can relate to his music. You know, and you really listen to it in the production, like his music is so beautiful. And him, Quincy Jones, everybody, I think they did such a good job on every project he did. Even the ones that fans think are bad, I think are really good. And I'm very inspired by him. So
What would you do if Michael Jackson just like was resurrected right now?
shut up right here, right now.
Yeah, like what if you
oh
just
my
got a
gosh.
notification on your phone? It's like Michael Jackson back from the dead, second coming of Jesus.
I think I'd be speechless probably.
Yeah,
That's
I
a good
think
way
we
to
all
describe it. Yeah, I don't know. But like I can understand what you say when like he influences people because I've been listening to like a lot of Bruno Mars recently, and I've told Andrew this, but like they're
Oh,
very
he's
different
obsessed.
artists because Bruno Mars is a bit more poppy and stuff. I feel like, but I feel like they're kind of similar in their vocal styles, maybe I guess, because Bruno Mars is like got a great vocal range, and so does Michael Jackson. I don't know. They're really not that related, but for some reason I feel like they are kind of.
No, they are.
So,
They're definitely very similar.
like especially on something that's more like excited, like happy songs, like Treasure or Locked Out of Heaven. Like that, I feel
Yeah.
like they kind of have the same like good energy going with
Yeah,
them.
yeah. They both make beautiful music.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for Cade, guys. Thank you so much for coming on, Cade. It was a great time. Everyone go follow Continuum on Instagram at Continuum with like 6 U's, not W's.
They look like W's, but they're U's.
They
we
do
promise.
when they're all together. But yeah, like go follow Continuum on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
See
Bye
ya.
bye.